The night Emily Chen's life changed forever started with desperation and ended with destiny. "Please save me," Emily gasped as strong hands dragged her into a dark alley. 3 men surrounded her, their intentions clear and terrifying. Before we dive into this incredible love story, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't believe the twists and turns ahead. She'd been walking home from her late shift at the hospital when they'd cornered her. Her father, Richard Chen, owed these men money, a lot of money, and they were determined to collect, one way or another. "Your father thought he could hide from us," the leader sneered, "but we always get what we're owed." Emily's heart pounded as she looked for an escape route. There was none. This was it. This was how her story would end. "Leave her alone." The voice came from the shadows, deep and commanding. A man stepped into the dim streetlight, and Emily's breath caught. He was tall, devastatingly handsome, with sharp features and eyes that held both danger and pain. Despite his expensive suit and obvious wealth, something about him seemed broken. "Who the hell are you?" the leader demanded. "Someone you don't want to mess with." The stranger's voice was calm, almost bored. "I'll count to 10. If you're still here, you'll regret it." The men laughed. Big mistake. What happened next was a blur. The stranger moved with lethal precision, and within seconds all 3 attackers were on the ground, groaning in pain. Emily stood frozen, unable to process what she'd just witnessed. "Thank you," she whispered when the stranger turned to her. "You saved my life." "Just a thank you?" His eyes studied her face with unsettling intensity, as if he was searching for something. Emily fumbled in her purse. "This is all the money I have. If it's not enough, I can write you an IOU." "I don't want money." He stepped closer, and she could see the pallor of his skin, the slight tremor in his hands. This man was sick. "What I want is you." Before Emily could respond, he collapsed. His body went rigid, and she watched in horror as he clutched his chest, his face contorted in agony. Her medical training kicked in immediately. "Sir, can you hear me?" She checked his pulse, erratic and weak. Without hesitation, she began CPR, her hands moving with practiced efficiency. "Stay with me, please, stay with me." After what felt like an eternity, he gasped and opened his eyes. For a moment, they just stared at each other, stranger and savior, connected by something neither could name. "Miss Chen," a woman's voice interrupted. Emily looked up to see an elegant woman in her 30s approaching. "Thank you for saving him. I'm Dr. Sophia Hayes, Mr. Stone's physician." "Mr. Stone?" "Alexander Stone. You just saved the life of one of the most powerful men in New York." Emily didn't see Alexander Stone again for 2 weeks, but she thought about him constantly. Those intense eyes, the way he'd looked at her, as if he'd known her forever. Then came the day that shattered her world. She arrived at Columbia Medical School for the announcement of the Overseas Exchange Program. This opportunity was everything to her, not just for her career, but for her father's survival. Richard Chen had made dangerous enemies, and the only way to save him was to get him out of the country through the exchange program. Dean Morrison stood before the assembled students. "The overseas exchange representative will be Laura Mitchell." Emily's world stopped. "Excuse me, Dean Morrison. There must be a mistake. My grades and clinical ratings have been the highest in our class." Laura Mitchell, a wealthy blonde from Connecticut, smirked from across the room. The dean's face hardened. "Miss Chen, the decision is final. Frankly, your family's situation makes you unsuitable to represent Columbia. Your father owes money all over the city. Who knows what other dirty dealings your family is involved in?" Laughter rippled through the room. Emily's face burned with humiliation. "People like her don't belong in places like this," Laura said loudly. "Mice should stay underground where they belong, not trying to climb into the light." "What if I insist on putting her in the spotlight?" Every head turned. Alexander Stone stood in the doorway, radiating authority and wealth. His mere presence commanded immediate silence. "Chairman Stone!" Dean Morrison practically tripped over himself. "We didn't expect—" "Clearly," Alexander's cold gaze swept the room before settling on Laura. I'm curious, Miss Mitchell. When did Columbia start selecting representatives based on bribery rather than merit? Laura's face went white. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't you? Alexander pulled out his phone. I have evidence here showing payments to faculty members and plagiarism of Miss Chen's research. As the largest shareholder of Columbia University and chairman of the board, I'm informing you now. You're dismissed from the program. Furthermore, every company under Stone Enterprises will be notified never to hire you. He turned to Emily, his expression softening almost imperceptibly. Miss Chen is our exchange representative. Congratulations. After the meeting, Emily caught up with him in the hallway. Chairman Stone, thank you, but why did you help me? His gray eyes held secrets she couldn't read. Your parents died in a car accident years ago, didn't they? Emily froze. How did he know that? Yes, my mother died 5 years ago. And now you live with your father, taking care of him while he hides from debts. Alexander stepped closer. I know everything about you, Emily Chen, and soon you'll understand why. What Emily didn't know was that Alexander Stone had been searching for her for 3 years. 3 years ago, dying from a rare heart condition, Alexander had turned to Dr. Sophia Hayes, who specialized in both traditional and modern medicine. Sophia had discovered an ancient remedy, a mystical poison called the heart-sharing goo. It's a parasitic organism, Sophia had explained. It will keep you alive by borrowing life force, but there's a catch. Within 1 month of implantation, you must find a specific person, someone you're connected to through fate, and transfer the goo to them through intimate contact. If both parties are willing, you'll be cured. If not, the goo will backfire and kill you. How do I find this person? The goo will show you, in dreams. For 3 years, Alexander had dreamed of the same woman, a girl with kind eyes, a distinctive red birthmark behind her left ear, and a gentle smile. When Emily had performed CPR on him that night, he'd seen the birthmark. She was the one. But there was something Sophia hadn't told him. Transferring the goo would trade his life for hers. Emily would die so he could live. And Alexander, driven by desperation and the need for revenge against the Chen family, the family whose patriarch had caused the accident that killed his parents, had decided Emily's life was an acceptable price. Until he got to know her. Until she saved him again and again. Until he fell in love. Now he was trapped between his survival and his heart. 1 week later, Emily received a summons to Alexander's office. When she arrived, he slid a document across his desk. A marriage contract, he said simply. 1 month, I'll give you $100 million. Emily stared at him. You're joking. Do I look like I'm joking? Marry me for 1 month and I'll pay off every debt your father owes. I'll guarantee both of you safe passage overseas. You'll have everything you've ever wanted. Why would you want to marry me? I have my reasons. His face was unreadable. If you refuse, I'll tell everyone you seduced me to get the exchange position. Your reputation will be destroyed and the offer will be revoked. You're blackmailing me. I'm giving you a choice. Take the money and help your father, or refuse and lose everything. Emily's hands trembled. She thought of her father hiding in fear. She thought of the opportunity to study abroad slipping away. She had no choice. 3 days, Alexander said. I'll give you 3 days to decide. But Emily knew her answer already. I'll do it. Smart girl. Something flickered in his eyes. Regret? Guilt? She couldn't tell. We'll get married tomorrow. And Emily, don't try to run. I always find what belongs to me. The wedding was a cold, clinical affair at City Hall. No guests, no celebration, just signatures on paper and 2 people bound by a contract neither truly wanted. That evening, Alexander's driver took them to a mansion that looked more like a fortress than a home. You'll have your own room, Alexander said curtly as they entered. Don't touch my things, don't go into my study, and don't ask questions about my past. Emily nodded, following him upstairs. But as they passed his study, she glimpsed something that made her stop. A photograph on his desk. A young couple with a small boy. Alexander's parents, she assumed. They looked happy. Alive. I said, "Don't look." Alexander's voice was sharp. He stepped between her and the photo. "They're dead. That's all you need to know." "I'm sorry. I don't want your sympathy." His eyes were ice. "You're here for one reason, Emily. Don't forget that." But that night, Emily heard sounds of distress from his room. She found him writhing on his bed, his skin burning with fever, his chest heaving as he struggled to breathe. "Alexander," she rushed to his side. "What's wrong?" "Get out," he gasped. "I'm a medical student. Let me help." "I said get out." But even as he spoke, his body convulsed. He was dying. Emily ignored his protests. She remembered something her mother had taught her, acupressure points that could stabilize cardiac arrhythmia. Her hands moved instinctively, pressing specific points on his chest, his wrists, his neck. "My mother was a doctor," she murmured as she worked. She believed in combining traditional and modern medicine. Just hold on. Slowly, miraculously, his breathing eased. The color returned to his face. When he finally opened his eyes, he looked at her with wonder and confusion. "How did you—" "My mother taught me before she died." Emily sat back, exhausted. "Alexander, what's really wrong with you? This isn't a normal heart condition." He stared at her for a long moment, as if deciding how much to trust her. Finally, he spoke. "I'm cursed. Literally. There's a parasite in my body, a heart-sharing goo. It's keeping me alive, but it's also slowly killing me. I have less than 3 weeks to transfer it, or I'll die." "Transfer it? To whom?" His eyes met hers, and suddenly she understood. "To me," she whispered. "That's why you married me. I'm supposed to take this curse from you." "Yes." "And what happens to me when you transfer it?" He looked away. "You'll be fine. Dr. Hayes has medicine that will protect you." He was lying. Emily could see it in his eyes, in the tension of his shoulders. Whatever this transfer involved, it wasn't safe for her. "I need to think about this," she said, standing. "Emily." His hand shot out, grasping her wrist. "Please, I know I've been cruel. I know I've given you no reason to help me. But I'm begging you. I don't want to die." Looking at his face, vulnerable and afraid beneath the usual mask of arrogance, Emily felt her resolve weaken. She'd always been too soft-hearted. It was her greatest weakness. "I'll think about it," she repeated, and left before she could change her mind. The next morning, Sophia Hayes visited the mansion. "Emily," the doctor said, her voice gentle but firm, "I need you to understand something. Alexander is running out of time. The heart-sharing goo is becoming unstable. If he doesn't complete the transfer within 2 weeks, it will backfire and kill him." "What exactly does this transfer involve?" Sophia hesitated. "Intimate contact. The goo can only transfer between 2 people who share a genuine connection, and the act must be consensual from both parties." "You mean sex?" "Yes." Emily's stomach churned. "And after the transfer, what happens to me?" "You'll be fine," Sophia said, but she wouldn't meet Emily's eyes. "I have medicine that will prevent any negative effects." Another lie. Why was everyone lying to her? "I need time," Emily said. "Time is the one thing we don't have." Sophia stood. "Emily, I know this is difficult, but Alexander? He's not the cold man you think he is. He's been through more pain than anyone should endure. And despite everything, he's trying to protect you." "Protect me? By trapping me in a marriage contract and asking me to take on a mystical parasite? By fighting against his own instincts to survive?" Sophia's eyes were sad. "You don't know the whole truth yet, but you will. Soon." That afternoon, Emily decided to visit her father. She needed advice. Needed someone to tell her what to do. Richard Chen was hiding in a small apartment in Queens, paranoid and afraid. Dad, Emily said after explaining the situation. What should I do? Her father's response chilled her to the bone. Do it, he said immediately. Sleep with him, get the money, then we'll run. Dad, I'm talking about a potentially dangerous medical procedure. I don't care, Richard grabbed her shoulders. Emily, those men will kill me if I don't pay them. You're my only chance. You have to do this. But what if something happens to me? Then you'll die honorably saving your father. Isn't that what a good daughter does? Emily pulled away, sickened. Her father cared nothing for her safety, only his own survival. She'd always known it, but hearing it stated so baldly broke something inside her. I need to go, she whispered. Emily, come back here. But she was already running, tears streaming down her face. She had no one. No family who truly cared. No friends who understood. She was utterly alone. Except for Alexander, the man who wanted to use her to save his own life. The man who'd blackmailed her into marriage. The man who'd shown her more kindness in 2 weeks than her own father had in years. When Emily returned to the mansion, she found Alexander in the garden, staring at nothing. He looked lost, and she realized they were more alike than she'd thought. 2 people damaged by the cruelties of fate, desperately trying to survive. I'll do it, she said quietly. He turned, surprise evident on his face. What? The transfer. I'll help you, but I have conditions. Name them. First, you tell me the truth. All of it. No more lies. Alexander's jaw tightened. Emily, the truth, Alexander, or I walk away right now. He studied her for a long moment, then nodded. All right, the truth. He took a deep breath. When you transfer the goo from me, you'll take on the curse. It will keep you alive for about 10 years if properly managed. But there's a risk. A small chance that the transfer will fail and kill you immediately. How small? 20%. Emily's breath caught. 1 in 5 chance of death. Those weren't good odds. There's more, Alexander continued. Your mother, Dr. Lily Chen, she was the one who originally treated me before my parents' accident. She saved my life using traditional medicine, but she died before she could complete my treatment. The car accident, Emily whispered. Yes, and the man driving the other car, the man who caused both accidents, was your father. Richard Chen killed my parents and your mother in the same drunk driving incident. He destroyed both our families. The world tilted. Her father had killed Alexander's parents, her own mother, and he'd never told her. When I found out you were Richard Chen's daughter, I hated you, Alexander admitted. I thought taking your life to save mine was perfect justice. But then I met you, the real you, and everything changed. You still plan to go through with it. I did. But Emily, I swear to you, I've been searching for alternatives. I don't want you to die. I want... He trailed off, unable to finish. You want to survive, she said flatly. I want you. The words burst out of him. I want you to live. I want both of us to survive this. I want a chance at something real with you, not built on lies and contracts and curses. Emily's heart ached. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted so badly to believe him. If I do this, she said slowly, and I survive, no more lies, no more secrets, we figure out how to break this curse properly, together. Together, Alexander agreed. He held out his hand. Partners? Emily took it. Partners. Neither of them noticed Sophia watching from the window, her face troubled. She knew something they didn't. The medicine she'd promised to protect Emily didn't exist. Not yet. If the transfer happened now, Emily would almost certainly die. And Sophia had to decide whether to tell Alexander the truth or let him proceed with the one chance he had at survival. 3 days before the deadline, Emily received a cryptic message from Sophia. Come to the Hayes Institute, alone. There's something you need to know. When Emily arrived, she found Sophia in her laboratory, surrounded by medical equipment and ancient texts. I lied to you, Sophia said without preamble. The protection medicine doesn't exist. Not in its current form. I've been working on it for 3 years, but it's not ready. If Alexander transfers the goo to you now, you'll die. Maybe not immediately, but within months. Emily felt numb. Does he know? No, I couldn't tell him. He'd refuse the transfer, and then he'd die instead. Sophia's eyes were desperate. But there might be another way. Your mother left research notes, a combination of traditional herbs and modern pharmacology that could stabilize the goo in both of you simultaneously. It's never been tested, but theoretically you could share the curse without either of you dying. Theoretically. It's the best chance we have. Sophia pulled out a vial of golden liquid. This is the prototype. But Emily, I need you to understand. The risk is even higher. 60% chance of complete failure. If it doesn't work, both of you could die. But if it does work, you'd both live. The goo would be split between you, weakened enough to manage but not cure. You'd need ongoing treatment, but you'd have time. Years, maybe decades. Emily stared at the vial. One choice, certain death for her, survival for Alexander. Another choice, possible death for both, or possible survival for both. There's one more thing, Sophia added. The ritual requires complete honesty and trust between participants. Any deception, any hidden agenda, and it will fail. You'd both need to go into this with pure intentions. Pure intentions? Emily laughed bitterly. Our entire relationship is built on lies. Then make it truth. You have 3 days. Emily spent those 3 days torn between fear and hope. She didn't tell Alexander about her conversation with Sophia, didn't tell him about the alternative treatment. She needed to figure out what she truly wanted first. Did she want to save herself at his expense? Let him die and live with that guilt? Or did she want to risk everything for a chance at something real? The answer came on the night before the deadline. Emily found Alexander in his study, staring at that photograph of his parents again. Tell me about them, she said softly. He looked up, surprised. What? Your parents. Tell me who they were. For a moment, she thought he'd refuse. Then slowly, he began to talk. He told her about his father's terrible jokes, his mother's kindness, the way they'd loved him unconditionally. He told her about the night they died, about surviving when they didn't, about the guilt that haunted him every day. I was supposed to die with them, he whispered. Instead, I've been living half a life, trapped by this curse, unable to move forward or let go. And you think killing me will fix that? No. He met her eyes. I think it will damn me forever. But I'm a coward, Emily. When it comes down to my life or yours, I don't know if I'm strong enough to choose you. His honesty broke her heart and mended it simultaneously. What if you didn't have to choose? She asked. What if there was a way for both of us to survive? She told him everything. Sophia's confession, the alternative treatment, the risks involved. 60% failure rate, Alexander said flatly. Emily, that's suicide. It's hope. It's a chance for both of us. She took his hands. Alexander, I'm terrified. But I'd rather die trying to save us both than live knowing I let you die alone. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you pretend to be cold, but you're not. I know you carry guilt that isn't yours to bear. I know you've spent 3 years searching for me because some mystical dream told you I was important. She smiled sadly. And I know that despite everything, despite the lies and the contract and the curse, I'm falling in love with you. Alexander's composure cracked. He pulled her into his arms, holding her as if she might disappear. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you're stuck with me anyway. If we do this, he said against her hair, and it fails, I need you to know that these past few weeks with you have been the most real, most alive I've felt since my parents died. Whatever happens, thank you for that. We're not dying, Emily said firmly. Not today, not tomorrow. We're surviving this, together. The ritual took place in Sophia's private laboratory, away from prying eyes. Emily and Alexander stood in the center of a circle inscribed with symbols neither of them understood, holding the vial of golden liquid between them. "Once you drink this," Sophia instructed, "the goo will begin to divide. The process is painful and dangerous. You must maintain physical contact throughout, and you must focus on your genuine feelings for each other. Any doubt, any fear, any deception will cause the ritual to fail." "We understand," Emily said. Alexander squeezed her hand. "Together." "Together?" she echoed. They drank the liquid simultaneously. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, pain. Searing, unbearable pain that felt like being torn apart from the inside. Emily screamed. Alexander's grip on her hand tightened until she thought her bones would break. The world dissolved into agony. But through the pain, she felt something else. A connection, deep and primal, as if her soul was reaching out and touching his. She felt his fear, his hope, his desperate love for her. And she knew he felt hers too. "Stay with me," she gasped. "Alexander, please." "I'm here," he managed. "I'm not letting go." The pain intensified. Emily's vision went white, then black, then red. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think, could only hold on to Alexander's hand and pray they'd survive this. And then, slowly, the pain began to recede. The connection between them solidified, became real, became permanent. When Emily finally opened her eyes, she saw Alexander staring at her with wonder. "It worked," he whispered. "Dear God, it actually worked." Sophia was checking their vital signs, her face alight with excitement. "Your heart rates are synchronizing. The goo is stable in both of you. I can't believe it. You did it." Emily started to laugh, relief and joy bubbling up inside her. They'd survived, both of them. Against all odds, they'd found a way to break the curse without sacrificing each other. Alexander pulled her close and kissed her. Their first real kiss, not motivated by obligation or ritual, but by pure, honest love. "I love you," he said against her lips. "I should have said it sooner. I should have been honest from the start. But I'm saying it now. I love you, Emily Chen. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving it." "You'd better," she said, smiling through tears. "Because I'm not going anywhere." But their happiness was short-lived. That night, when they returned to the mansion, they found it ransacked. Richard Chen was waiting for them, along with 3 armed men. "Dad?" Emily's voice shook. "What are you doing?" "What I should have done years ago," Richard said coldly. "Taking what's mine. You see, Emily, I did my research. I know about the Stone family fortune. I know that as Alexander's wife, you're entitled to half. And as your father, I'm entitled to your assets." "You're insane!" Alexander stepped in front of Emily. "Security is already on the way, whatever you're planning." "I'm planning to eliminate you," Richard interrupted, "and take control of my daughter's inheritance. She's been my meal ticket since birth. I'm not letting her waste that on some dying rich boy." "I'm your daughter," Emily cried. "How can you—" "You're a tool, nothing more. Your mother understood that before she died. Why do you think she married me? For love?" Richard laughed bitterly. "She needed funding for her research. I needed respectability. We used each other. That's what people do, Emily. They use each other." "You're wrong," Emily said, her voice steady despite her fear. "Love is real, and you're going to leave now, or I swear I'll make sure everyone knows what you've done." Bold words from a girl with 3 guns pointed at her. The situation was deteriorating fast. Alexander calculated odds, looking for an escape route. But before anyone could move, the doors burst open. Sophia rushed in with a team of security guards. "Step away from them. Now." The standoff lasted only seconds. Richard's hired thugs, seeing themselves outnumbered, dropped their weapons and ran. Richard tried to follow, but security caught him. "You haven't seen the last of me," he shouted as they dragged him away. "Emily, you'll regret this. You'll regret choosing him over your own father." Emily watched him go, feeling nothing but relief. "He was never my father," she said quietly. Not in any way that mattered. Alexander wrapped his arms around her. Are you all right? I am now. She turned to face him. I'm sorry you got dragged into my family's mess. Your family's mess is my family's mess. That's what marriage means. He smiled. Even fake contract marriages that turn real. About that contract, Emily said. I think we should tear it up. What? The contract said 1 month, but I don't want 1 month with you, Alexander. I want forever. So let's get rid of the contract and start over. A real marriage, built on truth and trust and love. Alexander's smile could have lit up the entire city. Forever sounds perfect. 6 months later, Emily stood in the grand ballroom of Stone Manor, watching as hundreds of guests celebrated her medical breakthrough. Her research into heart conditions, inspired by Alexander's curse and her mother's traditional medicine, had led to revolutionary treatments that were saving lives across the country. Nervous? Alexander appeared beside her, looking devastatingly handsome in his tuxedo. Terrified, she admitted. What if my speech is boring? What if… He silenced her with a kiss. You're brilliant. They're going to love you. As Emily took the stage to thunderous applause, she reflected on everything that had brought her to this moment. The wrong car on a rainy night, the contract marriage, the curse that should have killed them both. Instead, it had led her to her purpose and her person. Thank you all for coming, she began. 6 months ago, I was a struggling medical student with more debt than hope. Today, I stand here as Dr. Emily Stone, and I owe it all to one man who showed me that the bravest thing we can do is choose love, even when it seems impossible. She found Alexander in the crowd, his eyes shining with pride and love. This research is dedicated to everyone who's ever been told they're not good enough, not worthy enough, not strong enough. You are, and with the right person beside you, you can achieve miracles. After the speech, as Emily mingled with guests and accepted congratulations, Alexander pulled her aside onto a balcony overlooking the garden. I have something for you, he said, pulling out a small box. Alexander, you've already given me so much. Open it. Inside was a delicate necklace with a pendant shaped like a heart, half in silver, half in gold. It represents us, he explained. 2 halves that became one, 2 curses that became a blessing, 2 broken people who found a way to heal each other. Emily's eyes filled with tears. It's perfect. As he fastened the necklace around her neck, Alexander said, You know what I realized? That night when you got into the wrong car, it was actually the right car. It brought you exactly where you needed to be. To you, Emily agreed. To us. They kissed as the sun set over Manhattan, 2 souls bound not by curses or contracts, but by choice. They'd both been broken, both desperate, both alone. But together, they'd found something neither had dared hope for. A love worth fighting for, worth surviving for, worth building a life around. And in the end, that was the greatest magic of all. Emily adjusted the stethoscope around her neck and smiled at the young couple sitting nervously in her office at Chenstone Medical Center, the charitable hospital she and Alexander had founded together. The treatment is going to work, she assured them. I know heart conditions are scary, but we've made incredible advances. You're going to be fine. After they left, Alexander appeared in her doorway with coffee and their 3-year-old daughter, Sophie, who immediately ran to Emily. Mommy, Daddy says you're the best doctor in the whole world. Daddy might be biased, Emily laughed, scooping Sophie into her arms. Daddy's not biased, Daddy's correct, Alexander said, kissing them both. How was your morning? Exhausting, rewarding, perfect. Emily smiled at him. Just like every day with you. Even the days I'm insufferable? Especially those days. As they headed home together, a real family, built on truth and trust and unshakable love, Emily thought about the girl she'd been 5 years ago. Desperate, alone, terrified. That girl had gotten into the wrong car one rainy night and found her destiny. Sometimes the wrong turn leads you exactly where you need to be. Sometimes a curse becomes a blessing. And sometimes the person you think will destroy you ends up being the one who saves you. That was their story, and it was far from over. Life's greatest blessings often come disguised as curses. When we face impossible choices, the bravest path isn't always the safest. It's the one that honors both ourselves and others. True love isn't about sacrifice alone. It's about finding solutions that let everyone survive, together. Our worst moments don't define us. How we rise from them does. And sometimes, getting into the wrong car is exactly right. Because destiny has a way of putting us where we need to be, with the people we need to meet, to become who we're meant to be. If this story touched your heart, please smash that like button, share with friends who love romantic stories, and subscribe for more incredible tales. What would you do if you had to choose between your life and someone you love? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next story.